friends! Welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Met. My name is Hannah and I'm so excited to see you today. Let's get started like we always do by singing the Storytime welcome song. Alright, so at the count of 3, can you help me out? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Welcome friends, get ready, get set for story time at the Met, where we love to read and sing and look at works of art and picture books. We'll use our eyes to look and see. We'll use our ears to hear stories. Now we'll take a seat and give a shh. Let's begin with our first book. Good job! Alright, let's get started. Today we are going to be reading a great book called Not Quite Snow White, written by Ashley Franklin and illustrated by Ebony Glenn. Alright, has anyone watched the movie Snow White? Can you raise your hand if you've seen the Disney movie Snow White? Alright, can you raise your hand if you haven't? That's okay too. I think you'll like this book either way. For Tamika, it was always the right time and place to dance and sing. Look at that. Can you say good morning with a big yawn? Tamika had a hip-rolling happy dance, a swayful sad dance, a stomping mad dance, and a hair-flicking just because she felt fabulous dance. Can you flip your hair because you feel fabulous? Good job. She sang high with the tweeting birds and low with the croaking frogs. She always shared her love of music and movement with an audience, stuffed and unstuffed. Do you ever sing or dance for a stuffed audience? What about an unstuffed audience? Maybe brothers, sisters, or grown-ups? Well, Tamika loved the stage. It was her perfect place. She was the star of every show, and she loved every show that she starred in. She had been a cucumber, a space cowgirl, a dinosaur, and her favorite part, a singing mermaid. Anyone ever sing like a singing mermaid? On stage, Tamika felt like she could be anything or anyone she wanted to be. But she had never been a princess. Now she would finally have her chance. The poster they're looking at says, Mulberry Primaries, First Snow White, the musical. Tamika was so excited that she went to both days of auditions for Snow White the musical. And on the first day, she arrived super early. Look at her, first in line. She helped friends with their lines, kept count for the dancers, and shooed butterflies from nervous tummies so songs could be sung. You ever get butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous? Yeah, especially for a big performance or maybe something big that you're about to do. After the audition, Tamika heard some of the other kids whispering. She can't be Snow White. She's too tall. She's much too chubby. And she's too brown. Tamika looked at her legs. They were long. Maybe the kids were right. A princess shouldn't be taller than her prince, should she? And she looked at her belly. Maybe what the kid said was true. She could not remember any chubby princesses. And Tamika looked at her skin. She was brown. How could a girl with brown skin play a princess like Snow White? Could those kids be wrong? Maybe she was wrong for wanting to be the princess. Tamika slouched and sucked in her belly. She tried pulling down her sleeves, but there was no getting around being brown. For the first time, she didn't feel like dancing or singing. She looks so upset, right? At dinner, Tamika didn't tap her feet or clang rhythms with her spoons. See her at dinner? Is something wrong? Asked her mom. The other kids said I'm too tall, too chubby, and too brown. I'm not right for Snow White, said Tamika. You've got it all wrong, Mom said. You are tall enough, chubby enough, and brown enough to be a perfect princess. Do you see what Tamika's mom is putting on her head? Princess crown? And besides, said her dad, Snow White is just pretend. You've always been my real princess. Look at him with a silly hat on here. And you're just enough of all the right stuff. He kissed her forehead. Tamika smiled. Maybe her parents were onto something. At the audition the next day, Tamika watched all the other kids on stage and do their best. I love this page because we start with Tamika down here and we go down the long line of her classmates and we end with her classmate on stage singing. It was Tamika's turn at last. She remembered what her parents had said, but her long legs were still a little jittery. She closed her eyes and imagined she was singing and dancing for her favorite audience of friends, stuffed and unstuffed. Then she remembered the joy she felt when performing. Tamika knew she could do it. And she did. She shone like the star she was. She could act, she could dance, she could sing, and she loved herself as much as she loved music and movement. Look at her go, right? And Tamika was a perfectly poised princess. When her audition was over, Tamika looked out to smiling faces. She wasn't too much of anything. She's about to do a curtsy, right? Performers do that at the end of their performances. And maybe she was just enough of all the right stuff. Because do you see what she's dressed as? She got the part and she's dressed as Snow White. And they're about to take their big bow. Can we take up our own final bow? Ready? And bow. Good job. The end. Did you like that story? I hope you did. I love the illustrations, and it has a great message to love ourselves, right, just as we are, and to love our friends just as they are. And it also reminds us to listen and remember what makes us happy and what we love to do. So before we take a look at an art object, let's take a quick stretch break, right? Because I love movement just like Tamika does. You too? Can you stretch your arms out towards me and then out to the sides and then maybe put your head to either side? Good job. Maybe jump up and down. All right, I think we're all ready to look at our object from the Met's collection. She is called the Female Dancer. She's a sculpture about 21 inches high, so she's going to be about this big if you saw her in real life. And she was made in the 2nd century BC, which means she's over 2,000 years old. Right? The sculpture was made in China, and in particularly in the Western Han Dynasty. So let's take a look at her, right? Looks like she's kind of frozen in time, wouldn't you say? But okay, let's zoom in on her arms. What do you think they're doing? Can you put your arms the way her arms are? Maybe like this? My guess is that she's dancing like this. Can you dance like the female dancer is? All we need are some long sleeves, right? Good job. Let me see you move your arms one more time. Beautiful. Now, in the same type of movement, we are going to think of our favorite song. Okay, did you think of it? Maybe you can turn it on really quick. Or you can wait till after this to turn it on. And our activity is going to involve your favorite song and a tissue. All right, so you're gonna play your favorite song, put your tissue on your head, and dance while trying to not let the tissue fall off your head. How about that? Cool? All right. It's a little bit of a silly one, but I wanted to incorporate movement and just like our art object and Tamika from our story. So I hope you have fun with this one, and I hope you like dancing and listening to your favorite song. Thank you so much for joining me for Storytime. I hope you have fun with our activity today and have a great day. Thanks, bye.